This is the first day of deliberations on the year-end list here, and the only rules I have for video games are that they had to have been released this year in some capacity, and there was a self-imposed sanction on any game that was more than $20. I originally had an idea that I was going to put a list up here, and I was going to be like, let's look at the list of games that I played that were more than $20 this year, and there was going to be a very small list of like 3 games that scrolled down, but I didn't play any games that cost me more than 20 United States dollars this year, and that's just kind of the way that it goes. I'm cheap and I like to play games, and I don't have a ton of money to spend on those games, so this is going to be a de facto budget list just by the fact that I tend to be a budget gamer. Without further ado, I'm Joe Bush, and this is the first annual— God damn it, Mario fell down. I'm here in my parents' closet. I forgot to shave this morning, and I just rubbed some nice scented lotion on my face. Mario's fallen from the ceiling, perhaps angry at me that I didn't play his game this year. But I'm Joe Bush, and this is the first annual JoeBush.net Year-End Awards, presented by JoeBush.net, sponsored by Chili's and Ramona by Beverly Cleary, out on paperback and books on tape now. You know, I love a good sports RPG, but they don't come around nearly enough. This game kind of overstays its welcome after a while, but it's so rare to see a comedy-focused sports RPG, let alone a golf RPG at all, especially with this sort of comedy, my sort of comedy, it felt like. It's sort of made for me, and if it had been done completely well, it would have been #1 on the list. Still, I got so bored with it after a while that I didn't end up finishing it, but the parts I did play and the parts I did enjoy were truly phenomenal. This is a very small, free puzzle game about ratting on people from a guy named Stephen Miller on itch.io. I find myself totally lost in this for a while, hours on end, about 60 to 90 minutes at a time, and it really feels rewarding, post-frustration. It's got mechanics I've never seen before in a puzzle game like this, and it's just so much in such a small game. You can get it for free. I'll put the link in the description to this video. This is a little game, but it deserves notice for some of the best level design and also some of the best music I've ever heard. This is very cheap too. I think it can work for anyone. A good speedrunning game, kind of reminds me of VVVVV. I think that was the name of that game. Lots of fun though. Really recommend Kuso. This game made me reconsider the value of a game aesthetic by making use of a mechanical and graphical system inspired by classic Windows interfaces. It made use of my 22 inborn years of PC use to teach me how to play. That feeling is worth it in itself, actually, but it's a little thin otherwise. After about 3 or 4 plays, you pretty much discover everything you need to know about the game. I would get transfixed by Linelight for like an hour or so every few nights and have a meditative experience with it. I'd try to play it while like watching something else or listening to something else, and you just couldn't. It's one of the only games I've ever played that has completely focused my attention on it and nothing else. It's so minimal, but it just grabbed me. You play as a line and your other characters are lines and you solve puzzles, and I love it. Wow, Thimbleweed Park ended up 5th. Wow. Damn, good year. Great narrative. Maybe my favorite world of the year. The town and the people of Thimbleweed Park are so funny and so heartfelt and like genuine. This game reminds me of a movie like Raiders of the Lost Ark, made by creators who loved a style and genre, lost to time so much that they managed to match the soul of those games and that era and spirit of those games with aspects of the new context of game making. It works in 2017, but it feels so much of like 1987 to 1992 LucasArts adventure games. Really can't recommend it any more than I already have. My roommate said to me, I realize I'm an unserved gamer because I just want a good single-player first-person shooter game in 2017. And High Hell had my favorite level design, art style, and general aesthetic of the year. This reminded me of Mirror's Edge Counter-Strike Source minigames and being like 14 again. Brett. Playing a good 2D Sonic game, a good new 2D Sonic game in 2017 was more cathartic than anything else, proving that this was worth having. I was right. When I used to say Sonic CD or Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is one of my favorite games ever, I had to wonder if I was just putting on the nostalgia goggles or whatever, and no. It turns out I'm right. 2D Sonic is good, and Sonic Mania is fantastic. This game gets 19, the age of 19, and the small town in the Midwest so right. This year I graduated from college, so I don't have exactly the experience that May had, but the feeling of going home and seeing your old high school friends and seeing your old town and seeing everything change, they just got that so perfect. Your setting is so perfect, but it couldn't exist without the character interactions and the excellent characters that were created and the dialogue between them. This reminded me of my favorite game of last year, Oxenfree, but it actually had better dialogue. In a year of so much hurtful comedy and poor meaning, West of Loathing is exactly what I think the world needed. I saw so many people this year embrace the soft edge of comedy, myself included, and West of Loathing is perfect in that sense. This is a satirical parody Western RPG with no axe to grind. Some of the richest but simplest and silliest comedy of any game. So many laughs, like in terms of a laugh per minute quotient, this game is excellent in that context. Exactly the type of comedy game you need at the end of 2017. This is subversion without attack. This is joy without pain. This is West of Loathing.
You